from the compressed wound to the unbound ground. We have spent 9 episodes inside the cage. The anxiety architecture, the grief algorithm, the shame spiral, the imposter frequency, the rage relay, the depression geography, the boredom abyss, the obsession engine, the perfectionism trap. 9 forms of the same fundamental structure, something in the mind and nervous system organized to protect the organism, doing its job, producing as a side effect a quality of suffering that feels like a verdict about reality. This is the 10th episode of the 2nd volume, The Synthesis. Here is what the synthesis says. Every psychological cage in this volume has the same internal structure, a mechanism that evolved to solve a survival problem, predict threats, process loss, track social standing, model the self, mobilize for confrontation, conserve energy, seek stimulation, resolve unfinished business, maintain quality standards. The mechanism is not wrong. It is competent. It is ancient. It is running exactly as designed. The suffering arises not from the mechanism, but from the identification, from the move in which the awareness, which is what receives the mechanism, mistakes itself for the mechanism. The anxious one who is anxiety, the shamed one who is shame, the depressed one who is the depression. This misidentification is not a moral failure, it is the structure of the trap. The mechanism produces a felt sense of reality, a felt sense that the anxiety is not a prediction but a perception, that the shame is not an alarm but a verdict, that the depression is not a metabolic state but a description of the permanent quality of experience. The mechanism presents itself as report rather than process. It claims to be showing you what is actually the case. And the awareness, which does not know itself as awareness, which has never been explicitly introduced to itself, accepts the presentation. 9 mechanisms. 1 structure. The mechanism runs. The identification makes it a prison. Remove the identification. The mechanism still runs. The prison is gone. The tantric reading, which Avadhuta Gita approaches from one direction and the Kashmir texts approach from another, offers a different frame. Look at the ordinary machinery of your psychological life. Now look again. Both frames are true simultaneously. Every psychological wound is Shakti compressed. Every neurosis is the absolute playing at limitation. Every mechanism that produces suffering is the divine creative force turned inward on itself, not in error, but in the game. The anxiety is not the absence of the divine. It is the divine at maximum contraction. The shame is not the distance from grace. It is grace wearing the costume of threat response. The depression is not the enemy of awakening. It is the ground state experienced through the narrow aperture of a nervous system that has never been shown what it is actually looking at. This is not a consolation. This is not, your suffering is secretly beautiful, so be grateful for it. This is a precise description of the ontology. The same awareness that is prior to anxiety is the absolute. The same aliveness that is behind the rage is Shakti. The same ground that is present in the flatness of depression is what the Avadhuta Gita calls everything, the ground state that was never absent. Every psychological mechanism, examined fully, becomes transparent to what is wearing it. This is the operation that the Avadhuta Gita performs, from beginning to end. Dattatreya's roar. You are not a small self trying to reach a big God. You are the infinite, playing at being finite, not as aspiration, as description of the current situation. The psychological cage is not a departure from the infinite. It is the infinite, temporarily, wearing the experience of a cage. The mirror works both directions. In one direction, you can see the mechanism for what it is, a process in the nervous system, doing its job, not a description of fundamental reality. The anxiety is a prediction, not a perception. The shame is an alarm, not a verdict. The depression is a metabolic state, not a permanent report. Seeing the mechanism clearly is the liberation from the identification. In the other direction, you can see what is doing the seeing. The awareness that receives the anxiety, that watches the shame spiral, that is present in the flatness of depression. This awareness has a quality that none of the mechanisms have. It is not moving. It does not predict. It does not alarm. It does not retreat. It does not seek. It does not ruminate. It does not grade and judge. It is simply, vastly, quietly, completely here. That stillness is not the absence of the mechanisms. The mechanisms are running. The anxiety may be running right now. The habitual shame may be low in the background. The tired quality of too much rumination may be present. All of this can be running. And simultaneously, this that receives everything, that was present before the first mechanism fired. That will be present after the last mechanism rests. That has never, in the entire history of the mechanisms running, been modified by any of them. Not improved when the anxiety was low, not diminished when the shame was high, not expanded when the boredom opened into recognition, not contracted when the perfectionism spiraled. The Avadhuta Gita calls this the unbound ground. Dattatreya's name for himself, Avadhuta, means the shaken off one. The one in whom the identifications have been shaken off, not the one who never had them. Not the one who transcended the mechanisms, the one in whom the mechanisms are fully present and fully transparent, the one who wears the mechanisms lightly, knowing what is wearing them. All 9 fires were real. None of them touched what was watching them burn. This is not a far state. This is not a future achievement. This is the recognition that has been available in every episode of this volume, at every moment when the mechanism was noticed as mechanism rather than experienced as report. The anxiety architecture, present. The awareness that receives it, unfrightened. The grief algorithm, running. The awareness that holds the model of the lost one, not lost. The shame spiral, firing. The awareness in which the alarm lands, not on trial. The imposter frequency, humming. The awareness that receives it, already fully exposed, already fully known, already the real thing the performance has been a version of. The rage relay, mobilized. The awareness containing the heat, not burnt. The depression geography, gray. The awareness receiving the gray. The same awareness that received the full color. The boredom abyss, opening. The awareness at the bottom of it, the sought. The obsession engine, looping. The awareness for which it loops, the unsetting sun. The perfectionism trap, sprung. The awareness that sees the gap, itself without gap. Volume 2 synthesis. Not one of these mechanisms is the final word on what you are. Each one, examined with full attention, becomes transparent. And through the transparency, what is looking, what has always been looking, comes briefly into focus. It has been here the whole time. Uncompressed, unwounded, unbound. Wearing the whole machinery of psychology the way a sky wears weather. Completely. And completely free.